Once upon a time, bad bitch Eva villain lived in the city.
So this is the finished result of my hair dye. This morning, it's just Revlon, $6 in that dark brown shade, and I did my roots. Had my coffee, sat around for 30 minutes, then jumped in the shower to rinse it off, and voila. I love it. I love the results. $6. Did it myself.
Are the regular gel soaps?
Anything really. I just finished up at one Goodwill and I didn't find anything. And I was gonna start the vlog before, but there was a person like right across looking at me, so I was like, I'll just wait till
See, I wasn't gonna say. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I know. I know.
Because I refuse to go out. I'm like, some days you just, you know, my sister, she's got her own family. My brother is in Mexico. The kids that I raised, my teenagers, they have their own things. I hosted Thanksgiving for years, you know, and then you gotta get up the next morning to have the party. Me, everybody else stays snoring, and I'm like,
It's a video. You want to?
I can probably drill a hole in it. Oh, look, there's 2 holes. Ooh, you know what though? We could do it. We could do that. We could do that. I have that drill hole driller thing. You don't need to drill a hole. What I'm saying is we could do like
They're cute.
make it thicker.
I
Make
know.
it this line.
Yeah.
This is so. Look at this.
I
It's
know,
like
I
a
was
major
looking
league.
at
Like, yeah, this is so cool. For $1 only. Wow. Yeah, he said the rings are like $1. Yeah, everything is $1 each, or if you get more, you know, like a bundle or something.
Turning. Yeah. Okay. So good. After turning, E R R R. Yeah.
3. We are going to start out the day with French Beauty makeup application. First things first, let me grab my mirror. First things first, I apply blush, and I'm not going to, this isn't going to dwell on brands. We are just going to concentrate on type of products that I am using. That way you are free to use what you're comfortable with. So I apply a cream stick blush all over my face, and I do use my hands to apply that brush all over. I've got like a wet. Next, I am going to apply lip color, and just use any lip color that you are comfortable with. I was watching some morning show, just a short clip of it, and it did have Charlotte Tilbury, and she was saying how the matte look in regards to lips is currently in. I will share that segment here just so that you don't think that it's me just making things up. It's by the queen herself, Charlotte Tilbury, saying that the matte lip look is currently in. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is work on my brows. And I just emphasize the arch, and then I just emphasized the arch on both brows, and then I'm just gonna go in and soften it with a spoolie brush, and then go in with a Q-tip and clean up around the edges. Then, and I just clean up around the edges. And you guys, I have this this like sparkly base, and I will, it's not foundation, it's just a mix of moisturizer and some type of glittery thing, and I'll share it maybe later on in this video. So clean that up. One of the main things that main part of my look is I love faux freckles. So I do use this okay, I'm not supposed to talk about the brand, so yeah, but faux freckles, and a very light dusting of it is currently my favorite thing. Okay, hold on. Ta-da, that's it. That's my French beauty makeup application. And I'm not doing any I'm not gonna do any eye makeup today. I'm just out running errands, nothing special. And I've got these sunglasses on that I scored at the Kobe swap meet this past weekend. I wanted to share my newest pajama set. This is like a long, it's kind of like a ribbed tee, no boundaries, I think, from Walmart. And these are Joy Spun plaid drawstring pajama pants, and these are both from Walmart. I did size down. Normally I'm a size medium, but I did size down, and these are a size small in Joy Spun. I think Joy Spun runs a little big for me, so I sized down to a small in the pants of Joy Spun. And this is No Boundaries. This is a medium, and it's this really pretty pink tone. The plaids in this Joy Spun pajama pants are also in these pretty brown, pink, and beige tones. Okay, so I know in my last vlog, I said I was going to share the story of how my family, specifically my mom and my sister, and my mom's sister, visit Europe, and how it's different from a lot of other people. A lot of people visit Europe and stay at hotels and Airbnbs, and we see a lot of that in social media. But when my mom and my sister visited Europe, because my sister has been there twice, my mom has been there once, and her sister, my aunt, has been there once. That time they all went, they stayed with family. Our family history in regards to on my mom's side, it's a pretty interesting, we have a pretty interesting story with our German roots. So back in the late 19th century, Spain, who had discovered the islands, and we are indigenous to the islands, and then the Spaniards were out there discovering worlds, and they discovered the islands, and then it was owned by Spain for centuries. And then in the late 19th century, Spain sold the island to the German Empire. And when that happened, Germany sent these men out to the island. So Germany sent these German men to the Western Pacific, specifically Saipan, and the Guam was never ruled by the German Empire, because Guam was still under the U.S. after the Spanish-American War, and Saipan was sold to Germany, but Guam remained a U.S. Remained under the U.S. after the Spanish-American War. So Germany established itself on the island of Saipan, not in Guam. And so these men were sent to Saipan to establish the German administration. One of those men was my great-grandfather, Hermann Wojciech. My great-grandfather came to the island. He was one of the German administrators, and he was a medic. Back in the 1900s, my grandfather came to the islands as a medical assistant, which is kind of not so much in but back then, that's kind of the equivalent of maybe a doctor, but he was a medic. And he was also the postal officer. And I remember doing some research and in regards to the German Empire on Saipan back then. And one of the laws I remember reading, I have to look for it again, is that these German men could not. So Germany had established these rules in regards to these men going back on the island to establish the German administration, that you could not fraternize with the locals in regards to, relationships, etc., marriage, relationships, children. You could not. It was one of the laws. But what happened was my great grandfather, he was married, I think, to like a local woman. He came over there single, I guess, and he disregarded those laws, and he married. My grandfather was married to one of the women from the island, and he had 4 children with her. After that, at some point, he that ended, and he met my great grandmother, and they married, and they had 3 children. Those 3 children were 2 girls and 1 boy. And my grandmother, out of the 3, is my grandmother, Asuncion. And she's the oldest. And then he had, there was 3 siblings. So my grandmother is a Pacific Islander from her mom and German from her dad. So you have this German man on the island, and he establishes these relationships with these 2 Chamorro women, and he has children with them. So these children are now half German because their father is full German, and then their mothers are Pacific Islanders or Chamorros. They're natives. They are natives, island natives. And so what happened was my great-grandfather Herman, he was with my great-grandmother, and one day, I think it was the war, World War II, was gonna start, and something happened. The Japanese came and took him away. We like the descendants, like us, my mom and her siblings and all her cousins, we don't know the story of why the Japanese came and took my great grandfather away. And we never, my great grandmother and my grandmother, his daughter, they never saw him again. They never saw him again after that. And that time when my great grandfather left, or they came and they took him, my grandmother was already, she was already like a young woman. She wasn't like a young child. She was already of age. But I think him having these relationships and having these marriages with these local women maybe played. My great-grandfather, Hermann Wojciech, came to the islands from Germany in 1899, and then he disappeared in 1914. The Japanese came and took him in 1914, and my grandmother and my great-grandmother, and of course my grandmother and her 2 other siblings, they never saw my great-grandfather again. Never. They never saw him again after he was on the island from 1899 to 1914, and then he was gone. The Japanese came and took him, and they never saw him after that day. Never. So what happened was all we had was this picture. So years later, this is years later, all my grandmother had was a picture of my great grandfather with this little child, and it was taken in Germany. But it was, by the time like we had it, that photo was already all like, it was a black and white, just all old, and like full, like it was just very grainy and old. So what happened was, years later, family members, I think, like for example, my mom's sister, my mom's sister, older sister, she put out like news articles, trying to find my great grandfather, what happened to him. My mom's older sister, had tried various means, and this is back then, before social media. This is back in like the 70s or the early 80s, when my aunt was doing that, trying to trace and find whatever happened to her grandfather, my great grandfather Herman. And we never heard anything until, guess what? Until I think 2017 or 2018. What happened was, and we didn't know this until afterwards, but in 1918, my great grandfather, at some point, eventually returned to Germany. He had gone back to Germany. We don't know why. Maybe because he had to go back. He was forced to go back, but he ended up back in Germany, and he married a German woman, and he had one son with her, and that one son had a daughter, and her name was Erika Wojcik. So we didn't know all this until 2017, when my aunt Erika came across that newspaper article with her grandfather's name on it, Herman Wojcik, and a history of him tying him to Saipan. So my aunt Erika from Germany, who neither of us knew the other existed until she discovered that news article of my great grandfather, her grandfather, and his ties to Saipan and the German Empire back in 1899. And she reached out to one of my cousins, who was a brother of my grandmother. There were 3 siblings, remember? My grandmother, her sister, and her brother. And his granddaughter ended up Aunt Erika, in some way, was able to get in contact with one of us. And that just started it started a roller coaster of just all us connecting with my Aunt Erika, and my Aunt Erika connecting with us, and it was in like the island news, like long lost German relatives reunite. They find each other after 1914. That's how long it has been. We lost contact. I wasn't even born yet. My mother wasn't even born yet. 1914 was the last time we ever saw my great grandfather. So 1914 to 2017 is quite a lot of years. And well, then my Aunt Erika, she came to the islands. She came to the islands, and the whole clan, because we are a huge family. Islanders, we are huge. We are not just five people. We are huge. I mean, we all got together to celebrate this reconnection of all these lost years and reconnection of family. And we were just, it was a blessing, and we were just so grateful that she brought us all together. So she came all the way to the islands with her daughter Eva Eva and Eva's wife. And it was, I wasn't there, but like, I mean, it's my mom, my sister, my cousins. So it's like I'm there, but I was in San Diego in 2017 when she came out. So, and it was, I mean, we were just family. After we all got together, we were family. And Eva, my cousin, says, we are just five families in Germany. For example, we are just 10. That's our whole entire family, 10 individuals in Germany. We come to the islands and we are like, it's like a whole tribe. It's like, wow, like she couldn't believe it. And I think they loved it, and we love them. We love them. And before that, my mom, she's traveled throughout. She's been to Asia, the United States, but she had never gone to Europe, which it's not that she didn't have the financial means. She had every opportunity, but it seemed like fate was just waiting, for the right moment for my mom, because she has so much money. Back then she could have just gone to Europe anytime, but she never did for some reason until 2018. And her and her sister, who they go when they travel a lot, these two sisters, and I'll share a lot of those stories. They all decided we're gonna go to Europe. So in 2018, my mom decides, I'm ready. I'm going to go to Europe, and I'm going because Erica is there. My aunt, I say Aunt Erica because she's my aunt, but I think that's my mom's cousin, because they're my mom's mom and Erica's dad are brothers and sisters. So they are first cousins. So my mom's like, I'm going to Europe. I'm going to go visit Erica. And then my mom's sister Emma decides, yeah, I'm going with you. We're all, let's go together. And my sister decides to go also. And they asked me to go. My mom and my sister were like, let's go, come with us. We're going to Europe. Let's go. But I told my sister, I'm not really. At that point in my life, I was going through the threads had started unraveling with my marriage with my husband. And it was bad then, and I was just we had separated then. We were going through separation and all that, and I was mourning that loss of my marriage, that relationship, and I was mourning, and I didn't want to go. I told my sister, I'm not happy. I don't want to go. I don't want. So I had that opportunity to go see Europe. But it wasn't the right time for me. So I didn't go. But my sister and my mom and my aunt Emma went. So off to Europe. Their main goal was to go to Germany and to visit with Erica and my aunt Erica and her daughter Eva. and her other child, I think she also has a son, and so they flew out to Germany, and of course, and they stayed. So when they went out to Germany, my sister stayed with Eva and Eva's wife, and my mom and my aunt stayed with my aunt Erica. And it was, I think that was quite an experience for them, because it was really experiencing Germany and the German way of life with Germans. And I think that's the one main thing that I wanted to share, is how special it was to be able to visit Europe, specifically Germany, and to actually stay with family, and to live that life. Not so much, you're not like a tourist, you're not there to see like the tourist. You are, but you're actually living with the people from that country and their family, and you're living their way of life. And I think that's a really nice way to visit a country. And lately we see a lot of countries or territories or places just very, very unhappy with visitors. I mean, we hear about Hawaii, and how Hawaii is just really unhappy with how visitors come to the island, and there's like, they show disrespect, or Paris or France, or is it like Italy, one of those places in Europe, is just them showing this huge like displeasure with tourists and abundance, and the abundance, and how it takes its wear and toll. But I think visiting a country and actually wanting to live and really, really get to know their life. I mean, especially with DNA and ancestry tracing, we are able to connect with our family in Europe. The popular thing to do before was to get right. We're traveling to Venice. Does anyone have any recommendations of where we could visit? Like what to do, and what to do, where to eat, etc. in Venice. But I think that modern times now, ancestry and DNA tracing allows us to do even more in regards to visiting a country. For example, Europe. Modern now, in this modern day and time where we have DNA tracing, we can take our visiting a step more, a level up, by maybe connecting with our families in these countries that we're going to go visit. Back in the day, when DNA tracing and genetic tracing and all that wasn't available, now it is. So using that as a tool, when we know we're traveling to Europe, using that genetic testing, etc., DNA as a tool to further enhance our visit to Europe by tracing our ancestors, our relatives, and maybe making it a point to reach out to connect while you're there visiting, is another way of traveling, of enhancing our travel experience and forming that bond with that country, instead of just, I'm here to see the Eiffel Tower like a million of other people and eat at the restaurants and then bag on back to America. It's in 2025, I think like sometime in February or March, my sister went to to Europe again. And this time she went with my cousin and who we grew up with, and we're our moms are sisters, and that's her mom. This is my mom, and this is her mom, and they're sisters. And this is my sister and my cousin. We are first cousins, but she went with, it was my sister, my cousin, and my cousin's husband, and they went to Europe. But my cousin had already been to Europe because they were Navy. They were in the Navy, and they were stationed in Italy at one point of, So my cousin, this is the interesting part, which proves what I was just saying. My cousin was stationed, my cousin and her husband and her family, her son, they were stationed in like Catania, Italy. It was like an island, and it was a volcanic island. So he was in the Navy, and he retired eventually from the Navy after serving like 30 some years or something like that. But they lived in Italy. But this trip was different for them, even though they lived in Europe, because they were there with actual family, like our German family. And so it was it's a different visit when you're there because of family and versus visiting as a tourist. So they were there for, that trip. But my sister, she was there for 1 whole month. She just explored the entire Europe with my cousin Eva and her wife. She lived with them. They took a road trip from Germany all the way to Paris, a road trip, an actual road trip where my sister was able to my sister and my cousin Eva and her wife, they took a road trip, a European road trip, in Eva's, van. It wasn't even like a train thing. They actually drove through the roads of Europe from Germany to Paris, and they just had a great time. And my sister was out there for 1 whole month. I wish I had gone this time around. It's a little past midnight, and I am tired. I am going to watch a show and go to bed. But thank you so much for watching this vlog. And I wanted to share, I'm interacting with a lot of other grandparents, just, like at work and stuff. And because it's the holidays, there are these stories of how their grandchildren live out of state, and how they miss them, etc. Or they've gone out to sea and spend time with their children and their grandchildren. And yeah, I understand. You kind of bond through that emotion of missing your grandchildren, your grandchild, when they don't live in the same state as you. I miss my grandsons. And this is, I'm going to end this clip with him learning how to speak.
And she lived happily ever after. The end.